Manifesting is what you think. Or is it? Manifesting. Basically, bringing into your life things that you want. So, the question came up, can you have someone like you, be friends with you, and by manifesting? Or can you manifest someone to hate you or not deal with you? Those are very good questions. So we're going to have a discussion about that now. Honey?
Oh, it's we as in
yes,
you.
We as in you and me.
Well, who brought that? Who posed those questions? Is the question?
Our youngest daughter.
Right. I thought they were pretty good questions.
Mm-hmm.
She's been talking a lot about manifesting lately.
Yes.
And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because a friend of hers is teaching Cece about how she is working on manifesting things in her life.
And what grade are these guys in?
These kids are in 8th grade. They're like 13 years old.
Talking about manifesting.
Yes.
But that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All right, so you have any thoughts about the first question was, can we manifest to have someone like us? That was the first question. The second question just came up this morning, is when I was asked that question. What are your thoughts about that? Can you manifest for someone to like you?
That one, really, I would say no. You could try, and try to bring that energy toward you, but I don't know if you could really change someone's free will and get them to like you.
But I thought manifesting had to do with you visualizing something, and the more you visualize it, then it happens.
Right. But I never associated it with relationships. I always associated it with there's this house that I want, so I'm going to manifest that I get this house that I want. And it's always been with physical things, not with relationships, or maybe with a job. I really want this job of being an art production manager at this company, so I'm going to manifest that. But I never thought about it in terms of relationships.
So because you didn't think about it in terms of relationships, then you're saying that you can't do it?
I'm not saying you can't do it, but I would think that that's an infringement on someone's free will if you do it.
That's a good point. So what you're saying is you're manifesting for someone to like you, but you don't know if that person wants to like you or if that person even likes you.
Right.
So why try to manifest it?
Exactly.
While if it's a thing, then what? The thing doesn't have feelings?
Right. It doesn't
preferences?
have, if it's a thing doesn't have free will. So if I'm going to manifest that car that I want, it's a car. As far as I know, it doesn't, reciprocate any kind of feelings and doesn't have a free will. So therefore, I can manifest that into my life.
Well, that's a pretty good argument. I don't know how to even argue against that. Normally I take the other side.
Yes.
Because we're always taught about free will.
Right.
Right? So, okay. Then let's go the other way then. Can you manifest for someone to dislike you?
See, again, that's, to me, infringing on someone's free will. Because if they like you and they want to be around you, why would you want to turn and say, no, I want you to hate me and not deal with me? But that's their free will that you're stepping on now.
Stepping on?
Well, that you're infringing upon.
Oh,
But yes,
Okay.
that's an American term.
so from what you're saying, it's not something you recommend?
Correct.
How does that correlate with questions that we've received in the past about, well, I want to be in a relationship with this person. Can you guys do anything to make that happen? I just thought about that.
Oh, yes, and we've always said, no, we don't do that. Work can be done for the highest good of everyone involved, so if there is to be a relationship, it's for the highest good, but we're not going to try and step in and force someone to like someone else, or force a relationship to develop.
Well, first of all, we don't do any of that
Well,
work.
we don't know. We facilitate on behalf.
And we feel very certain that because we don't do the work and we simply facilitate, that, and we deal with beings of light, that they would not infringe on somebody's free will
That's right.
because they know how the laws of the universe work, or the laws of God, right?
Correct.
That it's all about respecting somebody's free will. I guess if you want that, you should go to the other side. Go talk to the people on the other side that
Deal with the
that.
dark sources.
Exactly. Right?
Now,
We don't do that.
Now, I will say that what you do think about will happen. So if you're,
Well, we'll get to that.
oh, okay,
We'll get to that in a moment. So that's pretty much similar then to trying to manifest for someone to like you or not like you.
correct.
Again, what you're saying is for a material thing, you can work on manifesting that. Well, what if, for example, your loved one, whether it's a sibling or a parent, child, is, let's say, severely ill? And you work on manifesting them to be healthy.
That's different than trying to get someone to like you. You are working on helping that person with healing. That's not trying to get someone to change the way they feel or think about you. You're just saying, I want to make sure that they stay healthy. I'm projecting perfect health upon them. That's fine. That's not going to harm them. It's not going to, cause any challenges. It's not infringing on their free will.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it could be if they want to be sick.
Exactly.
Which means that your manifestation powers will not work at that point. But
Wait a minute.
think
So
that
your
that's-
argument is changing now. All of a
yes,
sudden.
indeed.
Because what you're saying is,
having me think.
if someone doesn't want something to happen, then even if you try to manifest it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But you were just arguing earlier that you're infringing on somebody's free will if you're
If you're trying to
something.
force them to manifest, to force them to like you. And same thing, I guess you are then infringing on someone's free will if they want to remain sick and you want them to be healthy. I guess that's still an infringement on their free will because that's their will to choose to be unhealthy.
Okay. So now what?
What a concept this is. So now what? I think in regard to manifesting, stick with the objects and things. Avoid the whole people thing because you never know what someone is doing with their free will and what they're choosing to do. So you trying to manifest something with a person, to me, it all depends on what they choose to do with their free will.
Well, here's my question. Another question.
Uh-huh.
You said you never know what someone is choosing to do with his or her free will. What if you ask the person?
Okay.
So, for example, let's use the scenario of someone being ill.
Loved
right?
one who's sick. Okay.
If you approach an individual and you ask the individual, hey, do you want to be healed? Do you want to be healthy? And the person then tells you, in this case, yes.
Well, I would think that is their free will. They're saying, yes, I want to be healthy. So then you can work on manifesting good health for them
Okay. And
or
if they say
co-create
no,
with them. And if they say no, then leave them alone because they're choosing to be in that position.
how many people would actually accept that person's decision?
many wouldn't. They would try to argue with them.
right? And that's why I brought that up. Okay? Because it goes back to, well, what does the person want? It's not what you want for the person. It's what does the person want for him or herself, right?
Right.
So let's move on to the next part.
Okay.
What does manifesting really mean? What do you understand it to mean?
When you focus upon something, you have your thoughts involved, your emotions, and you're visualizing in some way whatever it is that you want, and your intent is so strong that you attract that energy of whatever that is to you.
So that's manifesting.
That's manifesting.
You want to give an example? For the people that maybe process slowly, their CPU is at 1 gigahertz.
Okay, so we'll go with a car. You want a green Ford minivan, and you can see it in your mind. And every day you say, I am the owner of a green Ford minivan. And you are excited about it and you're looking forward to this. And every day, multiple times a day, you keep thinking about it and saying, I am the owner of a green Ford minivan. And you get more and more excited. And then all of a sudden, one day, you are the owner of a green Ford minivan.
Okay. That's manifesting.
That's manifesting.
Let me share a story with you and then tell me what you think.
Okay.
See if you'll do the attorney thing again and switch us.
Probably. We're just going with my understanding at this time.
I remember listening to a story by one of these, I don't know if you call him a motivational speaker, but he's a pretty popular guy, Greg Braden. I think
yes.
his name, right? And he told this story about a good friend of his. They worked the same place. So he hadn't started, I guess, his business with whatever his business is called now, motivational speaking, whatever it is, right?
Okay.
He actually had a job. I think he was a scientist of some kind. And this friend of his, both of them started this journey about manifesting. And so they would make these statements about what they want to manifest.
Okay.
His friend was very bright scientist, right? And his friend would talk about, or his affirmations, and that's what they used, were all about finding the right partner, the right spouse,
Okay.
the perfect spouse. And this is the way he talked pretty much every day, you know. I have the perfect spouse, I am the perfect spouse or partner, whatever term he used. I don't remember exactly how the story goes. So this is
Your version.
Exactly. I don't want someone to contact and say, you messed up that story. Well, it's already messed up, just so you know. I just want to get the point across. One day he went to his friend's house. He didn't go there often, but he went to his friend's house and he saw that he had Post-it notes with different affirmations about the perfect partner, about himself, that he's all positive, and you know, all these things plastered all over, not plastered, but
Put all
over the walls, in his bathroom, on the mirror, as people say you should do, right?
Right.
And so wherever he turned, he saw these, and then he would say them. So Greg Braden asked him, listen, do you say these? He said, oh yes, I say them all the time. And he asked him, well, how long have you been doing this? And he told him a number of years. It's been at least 8 or 10 years he'd been doing it, right? And after he answered the number of years, he told him, but it obviously doesn't work. And so he asked him, well, why would you say that? He said, well, look at me. Who would want anything to do with me? I'm not handsome. I'm not smart. And he went into the other things there. All right? Now, you said that if you focus on it, you know, and he obviously focused on it, right? Because he had it all over the place and he said it all the time. How do you explain that? He didn't get this perfect relationship or, you know, he didn't become the perfect spouse or he hadn't found this. Maybe by now he has. But at that point, he hadn't found the perfect spouse. But according to him, he said these statements all the time, all day long. He had them all over the wall, all over the mirror, in the bathroom, in his bedroom.
Yes.
Okay?
But you
there's a but now?
you said that he said, who would want me? Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're manifesting, you have to get rid of any negative, because as soon as you say, oh, I am the perfect spouse, who would want me? Look at how I look at how I behave, look at how I do things. You just negated the whole thing. You just wiped it out. So
but that's not what he was doing.
Really?
You're giving the picture like he would say the affirmation, then say, oh, but look at me. And how.
No,
Okay.
but he believed that about himself, who would want me, because that's what he told his friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, besides, it doesn't work. Who would want me? Look at me. So he doesn't even believe it.
Okay.
So if you're not even believing it, which is one of the things I said, you have to have intent, you have to believe it, see it. If you're not doing that, if you really can't believe and see it for yourself, it won't happen.
Well, but I thought the point of saying affirmations was for you to keep repeating them so you start believing them, because in the beginning you don't believe.
Right. And yes, you are supposed to, but at the same time, you have to be doing your other part, which is as soon as that negative thought comes into your mind, get rid of it and then say your affirmation. No, I believe this. You have to retrain your brain.
Okay, so I think, let me take a different approach with that.
Okay.
Because despite the argument you gave,
It's still not good.
I believe, I believe that it's not about whether it's good enough. Okay, that's not the issue.
Uh-huh.
I believe that what you said initially about what you focus on,
Uh-huh.
that's what happens, is absolutely accurate.
Okay.
And I think that's the part that you're missing here.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to say something, but what are you really focused on is a different matter.
Yes.
All right? So he might not have said, well, look at me and how I look,
Mm-hmm.
verbally. Everything else he's saying verbally.
Right.
But inside, what is he really saying? What is he focusing on every day?
That internal focus.
That's the internal language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember a while back we recorded a video on thinking and feeling,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the point behind that?
That your thoughts and your feelings go together. They work together.
But one changes a lot, while
Yes.
the other one stays consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, which one would be changing a lot,
His thinking.
right? He's thinking, oh, I'm the perfect spouse. I have the perfect partner. I have the perfect spouse. Remember that the thinking is very agile. It can change like the wind, right? That's what we
Right.
talked about there.
Mm-hmm.
The emotions, though, they have to catch up. The emotions know that your thinking can change whenever it feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
The emotions just don't follow. And that's where people have a challenge. So here he is, he's changing his thinking, but emotionally, he's still attached to what?
To the way things have been.
Get it?
Mm-hmm. And what he sees right now.
So emotionally, he's tied to that.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think is stronger?
The emotion.
Why is that?
Because that's the one that's harder to change.
Exactly.
It's the one you're always feeling.
Got it? So what's his focus?
His focus is his emotion. Whatever he's internally telling himself through his emotions.
See, people think that when you manifest, it only has to do with changing the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
You follow?
I follow.
However, to manifest something, what has to happen?
You have to change the way you feel as well.
That's the most important one.
And your internal talk
All right?
has to match.
So you can say whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're feeling a certain way, that's what's going to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Because your body knows, right? Your entire system knows what you really want. Because you're telling it, not by the way you're thinking, but by the way you're feeling. So going back to, so you said all those things, and all those things apply.
Right.
But to me, the most important thing is, it goes back to the statement when people say, in order for you to manifest something, you have to focus on it all the time. And people are thinking that focus means that you verbalize it all the time.
And you think about it.
And you keep repeating it all the time. That's not your focus. Because keep in mind, that's the one thing that will change all the time. The way you think. The moment something happens, you change the way you think, right?
Yes.
Someone gets you mad, all of a sudden, or not, they don't get you mad, but you choose to get upset because of what somebody said or did. Your thinking now is what? Negative, right?
Yes.
About that individual. Or they don't like me. Or I don't like that person. All right? All of a sudden, they say something nice about you. That you consider nice about you. So what now?
Well, now you like them.
Now you like the person.
Now that you want to be their friend again.
This is the same person, right? But all of a sudden, a few days later, you like this person. But have your emotions changed about this person? Probably not.
No, they're probably still the same.
Get it? Manifesting, you said it, you have to have that desire.
Yes.
Desire has to be strong. What is desire tied to? Thinking or emotions?
Emotion.
So, let's recap here. In order for you to manifest, so I'll go back to this. What's your definition of manifesting?
Manifesting, where you are focused mentally and emotionally on your desire, something that you want, as long as it's not infringing on someone's free will.
Yeah, I think that part now. Oh, typical attorney. So here we go. But does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
All right. It's not just one thing. So many individuals say things like, but I've been saying my affirmation. I've been saying that I have a lot of money, right?
Right.
And I'm wealthy. Or I have the perfect partner. And that I'm the perfect spouse, right? Or that I have the perfect health. I've been saying it all the time. I've been saying my decrees. The question I have for them is, despite all that you're saying, what are your feelings? What are you feeling? When something happens, what do you start to feel? All right? Do you say, well, I'm too ugly. I'm too short. I'm too thin, right? I'm too tall. Or I'm too overweight, or whatever it is.
I don't deserve to be wealthy.
Exactly, right? I always have pain in my body, so how can I be healthy? Get it?
Yep.
If you're saying that,
And your emotions, you're feeling that.
exactly, then that's what you're going to manifest. Because remember that the desire, the emotion is the strongest part. So if you want it to really manifest, instead of focusing so much on the thinking part, you also have to make sure that the way you feel about whatever it is you're going to accomplish, that you feel great about it. And that you know that from the emotions, it's already happened. There's no question there.
Awesome. Well, let us know if you have any questions, or you can share your thoughts with us as well.
Remember to subscribe and like this video. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others on the same journey. Get help by visiting our website 190vision.com. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the donate button, which is at the bottom of each page of our website.